Hey guys, Space Marine 658 here. Today I am bringing a devlog. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. I've been real busy with some tutorials as well as some real life stuff going on. So let's go ahead and hop right into it. So I'm going to release an update here today that is just sort of including some of the recent changes to the UI and everything, and the AI themselves. Now, the actual AI, when you're going to be fighting, is still going to be those same ones from before. The other AI is still a work in progress, but I have included them here in the level, so that way, as I'm sort of working on them, you can kind of see that they'll update here, and eventually they'll replace that AI entirely. But you'll still have something to do and fly around, as we can see here. But yeah, we have our new UI element there with our different speeds, as you can see here as we accelerate. But yeah, and so the big focus of this update has been around that nav ball, including the heading. So you can see here the heading now correctly displays, what degrees you're facing, as well as, you got the different numbers here. So we got our velocity vector, as you can see here coming up. And if we go ahead and turn around, you'll see we have our retrograde to our velocity. We also have our normal, anti-normal, as well as radial in and out. Now these are just based off of your velocity because, we're not doing any actual orbital mechanics simulation here, but I think this is handy for letting players, what's 90 degrees offset from my velocity. It's important to know in a space combat simulator. But yeah, as you can see here, bloop, there we go. But yeah, so that is the big parts of the update here. There's still some more I'm doing as far as the UI goes. For example, there I still haven't yet implemented the brakes little light, and the brakes are getting overhauled in general to be a little bit more smooth and a little bit easier to use. Originally, these were built well before I had a full understanding of 6 degrees of freedom flight movement. And so while they're a little bit more accurate now than they were before, there's still some jankiness going on with those. So those are getting an overhaul, as well as upcoming. I plan on adding a lot of the last bit of features to the AI. So, being able to target the AI, giving them damage zones, starting to add weapons as well as weapon types to the different AI. And then from there, I'll actually have a lot of, the sort of features that I want to have in this edition, as well as my next big steps are going to be missile types, game modes, things like that. Let's actually pull up here. So I have a list here of some of the different features. Let me actually do it like that. There we go. So if you want to check out the Discord, that's where I kind of have these. So, I want to continue the UI overhaul, add some more overheating effects. So this is when your ship overheats. You'll start to take some damage or maybe get, inefficiencies in the system, as well as maybe I want to, right now I have a pop-up that happens when you start overheating. I want to move a lot of that because that UI is being redone. I want to move that out of that initial UI, put it on other parts of the new UI and the way we've got it set up, so it's all in one sort of condensed system. I want to add some range warnings so that when you're firing off salvos at enemies, it can kind of tell like roughly if you're too far away from the enemy. The sort of range that your missiles can hit, it'll kind of warn you that, hey, you're getting too far away, you need to use longer range missiles. Because that's part of one of the things I want to do is add longer range missiles that'll basically they can go a lot further in terms of range, but they're going to be a bit slower. And there's going to be two variants. So there's going to be a variant that is just slower overall, but is designed to hit ships from very, very far away. And then a version that is a 2-stage that's a little bit shorter, sort of that mid-range. It can go decently far, then it splits and it speeds up right at the end. That way I can kind of stagger them out. You get your short range version, you get your long range version, and then you get your 2-stage version there towards the end. because that kind of covers a large range of combat zones. Because when you're in a very short range combat, you want fast missiles that can come out real quick, but longer ranges, you're going to want something that's a little bit more efficient for those ranges. And then I want to focus on getting damage values and structural integrity into each component of the enemy ship. So the idea will be that I'm going to start 3D modeling those enemy ships as well, but there's going to be a breakdown of, a reactor section, a hull section, kind of like the player ship has. And then when you hit certain sections, so the big, main sections, there will be the ability to punch through and hit the different sections so that you have AP and HE. So if you hit with HE, you're less likely to actually hit anything important on the inside, but you're more likely to blow up smaller ships that are less armored. So for example, if you're taking on a missile corvette, the idea would be that an HE might be more important because AP will over penetrate. So I want to kind of start, thinking about how I want to include those values and those calculations into the actual ships themselves. So that's part of those damage values and structural integrity, because if you've busted a bunch of holes in an enemy ship, even if it's highly armored, you might be able to start using HE and actually hitting those holes so that you're punching more damage through to the enemy ship, depending on exactly what kind of their armor class makeup is. And then as well, I want to update the current objective. Right now, the current objective system is been put on back burner because I have a quest system that is in the game, and I don't like the way it's currently set up. So what I'm going to do instead is whatever the current game mode is you've selected, because I plan on adding more game modes eventually. You'll see an objective in the upper right hand corner, kind of telling you a basic of what you need to be doing and where you need to be at. So for the current game mode, for example, you're trying to kill all the enemy ships as quickly as possible. It'll list like the number of enemy ships remaining, and then your current time, like you'd have down on the right hand side, just so that way that sort of stuff can be tracked. Otherwise, I think that is the majority of what's coming up in the near future, and what is coming up in this update. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. If you have anything else you want to see, whether it's a tutorial, whether it is something you want to see in the game, definitely leave them down below as well. And that engagement helps, me get better views. Otherwise, though, good luck and good hunting.